Hello, my name is Jeremy Webb, and I'm going to share with you some of the research that I've been doing after discovering an early map of West Haven, California. West Haven/Moonstone is a unincorporated census-designated community in Humboldt County, California, just a few miles north of us here from Cal Poly Humboldt. And though the map did not have a date on it, it had two clues as to the time of its origin, and that set me on some investigation into looking into when these two clues existed or didn't exist. One of those clues was U.S. Route 101, which did not exist at the time of the creation of the map. The other is the Northwest Pacific Railroad, which is designated on the map, as well as a train station hinted at being just north of there in Luffenholtz, which some of you may know is one of the most beautiful beaches around. The Northwest Pacific Railroad was comprised of about 22 smaller railroads that existed from the late 19th century into the early 20th century, and they all were joined together, finally completed in October of 1914 when the railroad between Eureka and Willits was completed. This railroad ran consistently for most of the 20th century and was the primary economic lifeline for the area, as the only other major route of transportation was through the ocean. Various schooners and other vessels did make the voyage, and some of them did not make it. There are over 17 major shipwrecks listed for the coast of Humboldt County, but many others from smaller vessels and passenger vessels that had attempted to make the voyage but did not are listed in many of the memorials along our coastline here. And so the railroad was the primary means of getting up here, other than traveling by land, which would take many days, and in those early days was often fraught with bandits and other hostile peoples. The railroad itself ran without issue until 1964. The Christmas flood damaged over 100 miles of the railroad, and it took over about 177 days for it to be returned to full function. And this continued until 1978, when there was a tunnel fire, which, though it only took 3 months to repair, only half of the freight traffic returned to the rail line, as at that time, 1978, diesel transport trucks and cargo transport via the roads had improved in efficiency due to the continuing construction of the U.S. Route 101. This highway also started its construction about the same time as the railroad, early 1900 through 1949. The various sections of the highway were being built, and it was originally or officially established as part of the U.S. numbered highway system in 1920, or in the 1920s, and as it's been under construction ever since, though we do appreciate our highway and our highway workers. One interesting fact about this highway is that it is one of the primary means of determining whether a person is a local or an invading outsider, depending on whether you address this highway as 101 or the 101, as the dirty Southern Californians do. I'm interested in changes that have occurred to our communities due to transition from rail to road, as well as the effect of having these major thoroughfares going through our communities to this day. Thank you for listening to me. I'm looking forward to sharing more with you.